Welcome to the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Before we get started, I ask you to please subscribe and please share these out on your Facebook page. Thank you. As you know, my name is Bob. Today's video is on what the cast of the Andy Griffith Show did after the show ended. Now, I know you know some of this, so I'm going to hop through like Andy and Don and Ron Howard quickly, and then we'll go on to others. And this will take more than one video, so we'll do more than one part on these. So let's start with Andy. What do you think? When the series ended in 1968, Andy went on to make guest appearances on the spinoff Mayberry RFD, but was eager to move on from Andy Taylor character despite the popularity of Mayberry and its residents. He spent the 70s starring in a number of TV projects, including The Headmaster, The New Andy Griffith Show, in which he played a small-town mayor instead of a small-town sheriff, Centennial, Salvage One, and more. In '86, he agreed to reprise his most beloved role and return to Mayberry. Same year, he also found good fortune in a new TV show, Matlock. The wise country lawyer who was a hit for 9 seasons and nearly 200 episodes. And after Matlock, he kept working, making TV and film appearances and voice acting until his death in 2012. Ron Howard. Beginning with Grand Theft Auto, which he starred in '77, Howard began a career as a director that since made him one of the most successful filmmakers in the generation. His hits range from the 80s to present day, including everything from Splash to Willow to Apollo 13 to A Beautiful Man, for which he won Oscars as both director and producer, to Solo, A Star Wars Story. He also, of course, starred in Happy Days as Richie Cunningham. As a producer, he arguably even more influential. As a co-founder, along with Brian Grazer of Imagine Entertainment, he has become one of the most powerful production players in Hollywood, with his hand in everything from Arrested Developments to Cowboys vs. Aliens to Genius. Don Knotts. His movie career quickly blossomed with movies like The Incredible Mr. Limpet, The Reluctant Astronaut, The Shakiest Gun in the West, and of course The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, and more. He never entirely left television behind, though, and after years of guest starring appearances, he landed in an unforgettable recurring role as nosy landlord Ralph Furley in the hit series Three's Company. In the 80s, he reprised his role as Barney Fife in the TV special Return to Mayberry, and even joined Andy Griffith on his series Matlock for several guest starring appearances as Les Calhoun. Frances Bobbie A. Of course, she's known for the movies like the Day the Earth Stood Still and The Stooge and My Best Friend's Wife. And she made frequent television appearances from everything from the Loretta Young Show to City Detective to It's a Great Life. But despite her prolific output in the 50s, it was her work in the 60s as Andy Taylor's doting, often worried Aunt Bee that made her a part of television history forever. Even today, the character is synonymous with loving, warm country housekeeping, and Bobbie A's commitment to the character made that happen. Unfortunately, her screen acting career didn't endure beyond the success of the Andy Griffith Show, though she reprised the Aunt Bee role for the spin-off series Mayberry RFD and made small appearances in the '74 film Benji. Bobbie A spent her later years in quiet retirement in North Carolina. And the last one for this one is Howard McNear. As Floyd the Barber, he became an essential party of life in Mayberry. Whether he was a direct part of Andy and Barney's adventures or just a passive observer, he was always there with a clever line or two to contribute to the overall sense of Mayberry. As a community were, the barber shop was the center of gossip, in some ways governance of the town. Though he divided his time on the show with film roles in now classics like Blue Hawaii and Irma la Douce, Floyd would ultimately become McNear's last major character. Early in the show's run, he suffered a stroke, and that took him out of Mayberry for a year. Griffith and company encouraged him to return, but when McNear finally did come back to the series, he usually had to do so from a seated position, as he had limited use of his left side of his body for the rest of his life. After a series of mini strokes further limited his ability to perform, McNear left the show for good in 1967. He died of complications due to pneumonia in '69 at the age of 63. And that's all I got for you today. We will continue these. I won't do these in a row because I want to see how you all respond to them first. If you don't like them, I'll stop. If you do, then I'll continue. I know you know some of these. You probably knew all of the ones I just did, but there will be more to follow of the minor characters, the minor actors in the TV show. So, hope you had a great weekend. God bless. Be praying for you.